Hey there, it's JohnBerry555, and welcome to my quick review for Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes 1 and 2, also titled Part 1 and 2. So, I'm currently on vacation right now, so I don't have a great setup for recording. So this is going to be a short, 2-3 minute video where I'll quickly go over my thoughts. My plan is once I get home, I'll do a proper review. That's going to be a couple minutes long rather than 2 or 3 minutes long. So overall, I want to say I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. Apparently, some people had some complaints. I didn't understand where some of those complaints were coming from. It's a TV show, it's not gonna have movie quality, first of all. And I guess because if you haven't checked out my rumors video, feel free to check that out. I'll link it below. But the rumors involving Kenobi did initially have it being a film, so there is that. But yeah, overall, I thought the episodes were pretty good. I really enjoyed the dynamic we're seeing between Owen and Kenobi so far. I'm presuming we're going to see more in the later parts. I also appreciated how this very much fulfills the hero's journey, especially with Kenobi's, where he didn't want to go on an adventure, even though Bail Organa needed him to, but he was able to push him eventually. And of course, we also learned that Kenobi had locked himself off from the Force. Spoilers. But what I really do like is kind of like he's in a very similar mindset to Luke in Episode 8. I really like that. He feels dejected that Jedi's time is over. But he still has a little bit of hope because he is still protecting Luke. And granted, we do know by the time of Star Wars Rebels Twin Sons, yeah, that he does believe Luke is the chosen one, not Anakin. So there is that to consider, but he's not at that point in his journey yet. Um, he gets the first call to action by another Jedi survivor, but he doesn't take it, and that Jedi survivor ends up being killed off screen. Because Kenobi is, and it's off screen because for Kenobi that life is also a past life. He's going by Ben, and then of course, even the news of Leia being kidnapped, spoilers, doesn't snap him out. It's only when Bail comes in person, risking everything, which I think is what helps snap him out. And then, but he's not fully snapped out until he needs to use the Force to rescue Leia from a fall. That is what I think finally snaps him out of his depression, really. He reconnects back to the Force and also regains Leia's trust. But he never actually addresses himself as Obi-Wan to Leia, only calls him Ben. Oh, and so that actually gives some context for when in A New Hope, when Leia hears from Luke that Ben Kenobi is there, because she knows Ben Kenobi. Now, does she knows it's Obi-Wan? Maybe. It's hard to say if Bill told her that. I think there's a good chance, there's just certain names that stick with you a bit better. But yeah, it's just an interesting little tidbit there. I also really do like how there's a con artist who's pretending to be a Jedi, but is still doing good. He just maybe could do it a bit better. Um, but the weird thing is, there was a line where he called Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan. Not Kenobi, not Ben, Obi-Wan. And I was like, is that a slip-up, or is that intentional? Like, maybe he is somebody who knew Obi-Wan Kenobi. Also, the last scene I would like to discuss, because I don't have too much more to say about that, just an interesting tidbit I thought a little bit about that I wanted to share, is on the planet, I forget the planet's name, but Obi-Wan comes across a clone trooper, and the clone trooper is living on the streets. And that's actually, besides doing some good and helping rescue Leia, and taking care of, of Luke, that's the first truly just out of the way good thing he does. He gives a few credits to that clone trooper. So that's interesting, and it's a 501st clone trooper because you can look at the markings. But that is actually very interesting. Like, did that trooper recognize Kenobi? Obviously, I don't think the trooper said anything. Probably because by that point, any clone trooper, 10 years after the events of Order 66, any clone troopers that's left would be like, eh. I mean, if the Empire cast you aside, you probably wouldn't feel that up to enforcing Order 66 anyhow. But those are my basic thoughts so far, and because I really also got to say, Okay, just a second. Okay, there it goes. Also, when I think about the villain, the first sister, I think, Reva, she's obviously a former Jedi Padawan, and unlike the other former Jedi and the Grand Inquisitor, she was not even technically a Padawan, but a youngling in training. So that's, I think, why they treat her so, what's the word, they look down upon her, not because she was a former Jedi, because the Grand Inquisitor is a former Jedi, and a lot of others, but because she was not even a Padawan yet. I think that's where it's coming from. Also, the Grand Inquisitor is not dead. He was stabbed, but he's not human, so he's probably going to be in the back to think, but that's why he's not going to be an antagonist for the rest of the show. That's what they did. They got him out of the way, and it could be very much, you could still be alive, and then Rhea, I think, pinned the blame on Kenobi to get the Inquisitors to actually go after Kenobi. It's just a thought. But that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give a like and all that. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the force be with you, always. Always.